My story is yet another story of cancel culture. Why?
For decades, Pink Floyd captivated listeners with their pioneering sound, rich lyricism, and groundbreaking live performances. Their music struck a chord with countless fans across the globe, offering an escape into the depths of the human experience through the power of progressive rock. Whether dancing to the hypnotic rhythm of Asterisk, The Dark Side of the Moon Asterisk, or contemplating the existential themes of Asterisk, The Wall Asterisk, Pink Floyd's influence has remained undeniable. Yet despite their monumental success, internal conflicts within the band led to an unexpected dissolution. What led to this sudden end? At the age of 78, David Gilmour, one of the band's key members, recently shed light on the events that contributed to Pink Floyd's breakup and revealed the actions of Roger Waters that played a central role in their downfall. The long-standing rift between Pink Floyd members Roger Waters and David Gilmour was publicly reignited in May 2020 when Waters released a video on YouTube addressing a grievance that had simmered for years. In the video, Waters revealed that Gilmour had banned him from the official Pink Floyd website, which excluded any contributions he had made to the band's extensive legacy. "Nothing from me is on the website," Waters lamented, expressing frustration at being sidelined. He continued, "David thinks he owns it. I think he believes that because I left the band, he asterisk is asterisk Pink Floyd, that I am irrelevant and that I should keep my mouth shut." This public airing of grievances stirred up a wave of reactions from fans and musicians alike, reigniting a debate over Pink Floyd's history and legacy. Waters' assertion pointed to deeper personal issues within the band, suggesting that while Pink Floyd may have achieved incredible success in the public eye, behind the scenes, relationships between the band members had been fractured for years. The revelation that Gilmour had blocked Waters from the band's website came as a shock to many, highlighting the unresolved tensions between the former collaborators. Waters explained that he had attempted to heal the broken relationships between himself and the other surviving members of Pink Floyd, notably Gilmour and drummer Nick Mason. In the video, he recalled a summit meeting at a hotel near London's Heathrow Airport, where he had presented several ideas for how the band could move forward. One of his key suggestions was that each member should have equal access to Pink Floyd's fan base, allowing the public to appreciate the collective body of work produced by all members over the years. Unfortunately, despite Waters' attempts to bridge the divide, his proposals were ultimately unsuccessful. This meeting, which Waters likened to a Camp David summit, failed to resolve the deep-seated issues plaguing the band's interpersonal dynamics. The departure of Roger Waters from Pink Floyd in 1985 was not just a career decision, it was a seismic shift in the band's trajectory. Until that point, Waters had been the band's primary lyricist and creative leader, shaping much of their artistic direction. His contributions had been central to the success of their landmark albums, including Asterisk, The Dark Side of the Moon Asterisk, 1973, Asterisk, Wish You Were Here, Asterisk, 1975, Asterisk Animals, Asterisk, 1977, and Asterisk The Wall, Asterisk, 1979. However, as Waters' influence grew, so did the tension between him and the other members, especially David Gilmour, who had played a critical role in defining the band's sound. By the early 1980s, Pink Floyd was beginning to unravel. The recording of Asterisk, The Final Cut Asterisk, 1983, a politically charged album primarily driven by Waters, was fraught with creative disagreements. Waters' control over the album alienated both Gilmour and Mason, leading to a situation where the collaborative spirit that had once defined Pink Floyd was no longer present. In fact, Asterisk, The Final Cut Asterisk was essentially a Waters solo album, with Gilmour contributing very little to the project. It was during this time that the cracks in the band became undeniable. In 1985, Waters left the band, believing that Pink Floyd could not exist without him. He publicly declared the band a spent force and insisted that they should no longer continue under the Pink Floyd name. However, Gilmour and Mason disagreed, and they decided to carry on without Waters, leading to a bitter legal dispute. Waters filed a lawsuit to prevent the remaining members from using the Pink Floyd name, but after a protracted legal battle, a settlement was reached that allowed Gilmour and Mason to continue performing and recording as Pink Floyd. This marked the end of an era for the band and the beginning of a new chapter fraught with tension, but also marked by significant commercial success. To understand the eventual disintegration of Pink Floyd, we must first look back at the band's origins and the relationships that defined their early years. Pink Floyd was formed in 1965 in London by Syd Barrett, Nick Mason, Roger Waters, and Richard Wright. Emerging at the height of the British psychedelic rock movement, the band quickly gained a following for their experimental sound and avant-garde performances. Syd Barrett, the band's original frontman and primary songwriter, was a creative force unlike any other. His ability to blend surreal lyrics with unconventional guitar techniques gave Pink Floyd its early identity. Songs like Arnold Lane and See Emily Play showcased Barrett's unique approach to songwriting, while their debut album Asterisk, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn Asterisk, 1967, cemented their reputation as leaders of the psychedelic scene. However, as Pink Floyd's popularity grew, Barrett's mental health began to deteriorate. His increasing use of LSD and erratic behavior made it difficult for the band to continue performing, and by 1968, Barrett was no longer able to function as the group's frontman. This led to the arrival of David Gilmour, a close friend of Barrett's, who was brought in to replace him. Barrett's departure was a pivotal moment for the band, forcing them to evolve musically and take their sound in new directions. Gilmour's entrance signaled a shift away from the whimsical psychedelic sound that had characterized the band's early work toward a more expansive and atmospheric style. While Barrett's influence on Pink Floyd would always be felt, the band's new lineup allowed them to explore more sophisticated musical ideas, which would soon lead to some of the most iconic albums in rock history. With David Gilmour firmly in place, Pink Floyd began to craft a series of albums that would not only define their career, but also reshape the landscape of rock music. The period between 1973 and 1979 is often referred to as Pink Floyd's golden era, a time when the band reached new heights both artistically and commercially. The release of Asterisk, The Dark Side of the Moon Asterisk, in 1973 was a watershed moment, not just for Pink Floyd, but for music as a whole. The album explored universal themes such as mental illness, time, greed, and death, all set against a backdrop of lush soundscapes and intricate studio production. Waters' lyrics, which delved into the darker aspects of the human experience, were perfectly complemented by Gilmour's haunting guitar solos and Wright's atmospheric keyboard work. Songs like Time, Money, and Us and Them became instant classics, and the album itself went on to sell over 45 million copies worldwide. Asterisk, The Dark Side of the Moon. Asterisk remained on the Billboard charts for a record-breaking 741 weeks, solidifying Pink Floyd's status as one of the most important rock bands of all time. Following the success of Asterisk, The Dark Side of the Moon Asterisk, Pink Floyd released Asterisk Wish You Were Here Asterisk in 1975. The album, which paid tribute to Syd Barrett, reflected the band's feelings of loss and nostalgia. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, a 9-part composition that opens and closes the album, is a haunting tribute to Barrett's genius and his subsequent mental decline. The title track, Wish You Were Here, has become one of Pink Floyd's most beloved songs, capturing the sense of longing and isolation that defined much of their music during this period. Despite their success, tensions within the band were beginning to surface. By the time Pink Floyd released Asterisk Animals Asterisk in 1977, the relationship between Waters and Gilmour had become increasingly strained. Asterisk Animals Asterisk, a concept album loosely based on George Orwell's Asterisk Animal Farm Asterisk, was a critique of capitalist society and the class system. While the album was well received by critics, the recording process was marked by friction between Waters and the other members, particularly Gilmour. Waters had become the dominant creative force within Pink Floyd, and his control over the band's direction left little room for collaboration. Gilmour, who had contributed significantly to the band's earlier albums, began to feel sidelined as Waters took on more of the songwriting and conceptual duties. This growing divide between the two would come to a head during the recording of Pink Floyd's next project, The Wall **. Released in 1979, The Wall ** was Pink Floyd's most ambitious project to date. A rock opera that tells the story of a disillusioned rock star named Pink, the album is a sprawling exploration of themes such as alienation, mental illness, war, and the pressures of fame. The character of Pink was largely based on Waters himself, who drew from his own experiences with fame and his complicated relationship with the band. The Wall was a massive commercial success, spawning hit singles like Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 Inches, and leading to a film adaptation in 1982. However, the process of creating The Wall * further deepened the divisions within the band. Waters took complete control over the project, dictating every aspect of its production and leaving little room for input from the other members. Richard Wright, who had been a key contributor to the band's earlier work, was fired during the recording sessions, though he was later rehired as a session musician for the album's tour. The creative differences that had been simmering for years finally boiled over during the making of The Final Cut ** 1983, which was essentially a Waters solo album. By this point, the band had reached a breaking point, and Waters' departure in 1985 marked the end of an era for Pink Floyd. Despite Waters' departure, Pink Floyd continued to record and perform. David Gilmour and Nick Mason, along with the returning Richard Wright, released ** A Momentary Lapse of Reason ** in 1987, followed by ** The Division Bell * in 1994. Both albums were commercially successful, though they were often compared unfavorably to the band's earlier work. Gilmour took on a greater role as the band's leader, but many fans felt that the absence of Waters' conceptual vision was palpable. In 2005, Pink Floyd reunited for a one-off performance at the Live 8 concert in London, marking the first time Waters, Gilmour, Mason, and Wright had performed together in over 2 decades. The reunion sparked hope among fans for a full-scale tour, but the performance ultimately proved to be a farewell for the band. Richard Wright passed away in 2008, effectively ending any possibility of a full Pink Floyd reunion. While Pink Floyd may never reunite, their influence on music is undeniable. Their pioneering use of sound effects, studio techniques, and conceptual storytelling set the standard for progressive rock and inspired countless musicians across multiple genres. Albums like The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and The Wall remain cultural touchstones, resonating with new generations of listeners who continue to find meaning in their music. Beyond their contributions to music, Pink Floyd also left a lasting impact on the world of live performance. Their elaborate stage shows, which often feature giant inflatable pigs, laser light displays, and stunning visual effects, set a new standard for concert production. The band's ability to combine music, visuals, and narrative in their live performances helped redefine what a rock concert could be, and their influence can still be seen in the work of artists like Radiohead, U2, and Muse. After leaving Pink Floyd, Roger Waters embarked on a successful solo career. Albums like The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking 1984, Radio Chaos, 1987, and Amused to Death, 1992, allowed Waters to continue exploring the political and social themes that had defined his work with Pink Floyd. Waters became known for his outspoken political views, particularly his criticism of U.S. foreign policy and his vocal support for Palestinian rights. His concerts, often featuring elaborate stage sets and multimedia presentations, continued to draw large crowds well into the 21st century. David Gilmour also pursued a solo career, releasing albums like Asterisk About Face Asterisk, 1984, Asterisk on an Island Asterisk, 2006, and Asterisk Rattle, That Lock Asterisk, 2015. Gilmour's solo work emphasized his guitar playing and introspective lyrics, and he continued to tour and perform to sold-out audiences. In addition to his music, Gilmour became known for his philanthropic efforts, supporting causes such as homelessness and environmental protection. Despite their individual successes, the tension between Roger Waters and David Gilmour remains unresolved. While both have expressed respect for each other's musical talents, their personal differences continue to cast a shadow over the band's legacy. The public spat over the Pink Floyd website in 2020 is just the latest example of the ongoing discord between the two musicians. Yet, despite these personal conflicts, Pink Floyd's music remains timeless. Their ability to push the boundaries of what rock music could achieve, both sonically and thematically, has ensured their place in history as one of the greatest bands of all time. The story of Pink Floyd is one of artistic brilliance, personal conflict, and enduring influence, a story that continues to inspire musicians and fans alike, even as the band's members go their separate ways.